Well, everybody has had a bad day or what they call bad emotions, whether it's anger or hostility of some kind. And I would like to kind of get personal with you because for those of you who don't know Dr. Perkins' background, she has phenomenal letters behind her name. She's got a lot of certifications, well-qualified individual. But she comes from a background that really she shouldn't be here today. And so I want to talk about this bad day because even though you've had all of this training, you're having to put it into practice. And you say you have to practice every day with it. So let's talk about this bad day.
Well, before we go into the bad day, I want to say, had I not practiced, I wouldn't have made it through my bad day. I had 16 years on that day that I'm thinking of to practice, practice, practice. And we all have those days, where you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or as Phyllis Diller would say, naked in the garage. we wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and we're just not in a good mood. And the logics are be in a good mood, be in a good mood. I teach this stuff. I know to be in a good mood. I know you want to have a good day. But there was a day that I woke up and I was just ornery. I was irritable, I was ornery, and quite frankly, I was enjoying being ornery. And I was just starting a long week of going out on the road and being gone every day. Started my speaking in my hometown, which normally would be fabulous. But today it's not so fabulous because my flight is 5 hours after I end my seminar. Nobody's going to be at my house, which means I get to go sit at the airport or go home and take a cab to the airport. And I'm irritable, and I show up at the hotel, and none of my boxes are there, and nobody can find them, and the people that are supposed to help me are late. You name it. It went from bad to worse, and instead of seeing any good in it, I'm just getting, pissier and pissier. And I know that's not a good word to use, but I am. And I'm angry, and I'm irritable, and the day goes on, and I'm smiling and pretending I'm liking it, because I know I have to. But about 15 minutes before the seminar ended, the hotel comes running in with the phone and says, we have an emergency call for you. And I'm ashamed of where my thought went, but my thought was, somebody better be dead or dying or I'm going to kill them. And, most people would have thought, oh my goodness, what's wrong? But I was just so irritable that day that I couldn't go there. And I got the phone call, and the phone call was my youngest son was being rushed to the emergency room because he had attempted suicide. I was practiced, or I would not have been able to do it. I shut down. Years of practice jumped in and took over. And my attitude of gratitude that I had practiced for, at that point, 16 years, kicked in. And had it not kicked in, I couldn't have made it through the day, and I couldn't have helped him. But, the attitude of gratitude. Every day I had to write down 10 things I was grateful for. Well, that day, what is there to be grateful for? Well, I'm grateful he wasn't successful. I'm grateful somebody found him in time to rush him to emergency. I'm grateful we lived in an area that had a hospital that specialized in helping people with this. I'm grateful I have 5 full hours before I have to catch my next flight. I'm grateful in knowing that I could be there with him, and that after those 5 hours, they're going to rush him to his room and not let me see him again anyway. I'm now grateful I can be on the road so that I have something to think about. Because of that attitude of gratitude, I was able to go to the hospital and have true empathy for him. And instead of going into, oh, what is this going to do to me? And oh, poor me. And oh, how could he do this to me? It was, oh my goodness, sweetheart, I love you. What can I do for you? And I could focus on him. And I didn't even realize I was doing that. But it was from the practice and the rehearsal and the getting used to it in little things. And it wasn't until 9 months later, he wrote an ode to Mother and put it on my blog page. And he said something to the effect of, Mom, it was your ability to have hope that I would be okay that gave me hope that I could make it. It was your ability to focus on me and what I needed that allowed me to not feel guilty for what I was doing to you, that allowed me to focus on getting better instead of everybody's judging me, everybody's angry, everybody's hurt. It was those things, and I didn't realize I was doing those things. And had I not been practicing harnessing my emotions for years, I don't know that I would have been able to utilize the skills that I had for the better. Now, he's a handsome, wonderful, delightful grown man today, thank goodness. And I love him dearly. And, you know, there isn't a day that goes by he doesn't text or call me. Not a day. And every day, Mom, I love you. Every day, Mom, how's your day going? Every day. And he always comes back to, in my time when life was the darkest, instead of going back into yourself and how was this going to affect you, and going into your guilt for what you may have done wrong, or going into your disappointment, you were able to go ahead and step outside of yourself. And that is what true empathy is. True empathy is stepping outside of yourself, putting the other person in the spotlight, in the focus, and fully focusing on them, on their needs, on their frustrations, on their desires, on their wants, on what they have to have in order to get beyond where they are at this moment. And that's what I was able to do.